Have you ever tried to win an argument with a stubborn coworker and ended up just making things so much worse? Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into the absolute ultimate playbook for navigating human relationships. We're talking about Dale Carnegie's legendary 1936 guide. Now, I know what you might be thinking. 1936, isn't that kind of outdated? But honestly, the principles here are incredibly powerful today for literally any situation involving people. Next to health, people's biggest interest is human relationships, how to understand others, how to get along, and let's face it, how to be well-liked. And that is exactly what we're going to master today. To anchor our explainer today, just listen to this incredibly powerful insight from endocrinologist Hans Saley. He says, "As much as we thirst for approval, we dread condemnation." Think about that. Think about the everyday friction we feel when faced with criticism. It puts us on the defensive instantly, right? Understanding this deeply rooted fear of condemnation, well, that's absolutely crucial. It's the very first step in transforming how we deal with people.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Here is the roadmap of the 5 core lessons we're about to unpack. 1. The human relations secret. 2. Stop criticizing, start understanding. 3. The power of sincere appreciation. 4. Speak to their eager wants. And finally, 5. How to win without arguing.
All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the human relations secret, the deep, driving desire to learn.
Before we learn any specific techniques, Carnegie says we need a vigorous determination to change. This isn't just about reading a list of tips. It's a way of life that requires continuous practice. The foundational secret here is making a massive shift. We have to move from an I-centered mindset to a you-centered one. So instead of fuming about why a client is totally annoying you, make the mental leap to view the interaction entirely from their angle. If you can consider things from the other person's point of view as well as your own, you are already halfway there.
Moving right along to Section 2, stop criticizing, start understanding, the paradigm shift.
Okay, so our basic instinct is usually to criticize. When a coworker drops the ball, our old way is to instantly judge them and complain about their behavior. But the Carnegie method challenges us to hit pause, take a step back, and figure out why they did what they did. This is actually a lot more profitable and frankly more intriguing than just criticizing. Plus, it naturally breathes sympathy, tolerance, and kindness instead of, just creating toxicity.
We have to make that shift because fruitless criticism literally just puts people on the defensive. It hurts their sense of pride and arouses resentment. We have to remind ourselves constantly that everyone, deep down, simply wants to feel important and wanted. If you criticize them, you're attacking that very foundation.
Which brings us to Section 3, the power of sincere appreciation, the interpersonal toolkit.
So what's actually in Carnegie's interpersonal toolkit? Well, it really comes down to 3 main actions: smiling warmly, remembering names, and listening attentively. But hey, there's a catch here. These cannot be selfish flattery. They literally must be completely genuine and come sincerely from the heart. Genuine appreciation has absolutely zero selfish agenda. Let's start with a real heartwarming smile. It shows you're genuinely happy to see someone, which is uplifting and instantly builds rapport. And here is an amazing fact. Your smile actually comes through the phone. No way, right? But it's true. People can literally hear it in your voice. Carnegie actually suggests forcing yourself to smile in private first, just to manage your thoughts and get your mood right before you even jump on a call.
Next up is the magic of a name. To any person, their name is the sweetest and most important sound in any language. Think about how annoying it is when a barista spells your name completely wrong on your coffee cup. Getting it right, making a real effort to remember it, and pronouncing it correctly instantly makes someone feel valued. It really sets them apart from the crowd.
Then we have listening. And the irony here is that being a great conversationalist actually means talking less. Take a genuine interest and ask questions they actually enjoy answering. Encourage the other person to talk about themselves and their achievements. You have to remember this humbling truth. The person you're talking to is 100 times more interested in their own problems than they are in yours.
All right, Section 4, speak to their eager wants, aligning interests.
Henry Ford once said, "If there is any one secret of success, it lies in the ability to get the other person's point of view and see things from that person's angle as well as from your own." Carnegie uses a brilliant fishing metaphor here. When you go fishing, you don't bait the hook with what you want to eat, right? You use what the fish wants. The exact same rule applies to people. If you want to convince a stubborn client, you absolutely have to focus strictly on their needs.
To inspire that eager want, start by focusing entirely on what they desire. Then,
Consider the specific benefits they're going to get from doing what you suggest, and clearly match those benefits to their wants when you make your pitch. By aligning your suggestions directly with their personal goals, you create a total win-win situation.
And finally, Section 5, How to Win Without Arguing, Resolving Conflict. Because friction in relationships is inevitable, we have to realize that you can never truly win an argument. Seriously, even if you win on pure logic and completely tear the other person's points apart, you ultimately lose. Why? Because you've embarrassed the other person, hurt their pride, and completely lost their goodwill. It's just not worth it.
The absolute crucial takeaway here is that the only way to get the best of an argument is to avoid it altogether. A person convinced against their will is of the same opinion still. They don't actually change their mind just because you out-debated them. They just put up a giant wall.
So, instead, show respect for their opinions. Never say, "You're wrong." Even implying it through a dismissive look, a subtle gesture, or just your tone of voice creates instant defensiveness. Take the initiative to be fiercely open-minded. Admit that you might be wrong. It stops arguments before they even start and inspires a truly open discussion.
The thing is, people simply don't want to change their minds. They cannot be forced or driven to agree with you or me. But they might possibly be led to change if we approach them with a deeply warm, gentle, and friendly demeanor.
As we wrap up these lessons, I want you to remember this beautifully simple truth. Praise every slight improvement. Abilities wither under criticism, but they absolutely blossom under encouragement. You possess this magic ability to inspire people with a realization of their latent possibilities. By praising even the smallest wins, you give people a fine reputation to live up to.
To bring this all together, just remember that sincerity is the key to all human relations. Smiling, remembering names, avoiding arguments. These aren't just cheap tricks to cajole others. No, they are profound habits of appreciation that will only work when they are applied genuinely, right from the heart.
I'll leave you, the focused learner, with this provocative question to ponder. Who will you try to understand today instead of criticize? I challenge you to take these insights and apply this paradigm shift to your very next interaction. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope this helps you master the art of human relations.